Aren't tomatoes, when they're in season, just the best? Add a little dressing and perhaps a fresh, pillowy cheese. So simple.
When I was a student, I had this wonderful little cookbook called Quick and Easy Pasta Sauces, and I burned through that book making pasta just about every day, which isn't ideal. So now I tend to just make the sauces and turn them into salads and eat them for lunch in all different ways. And one of the best recipes that really resonates still today is this fresh tomato sauce, which is the most delicious, creamy, decadent, mozzarella-like cheese. And it all starts not with the cheese, but with the ending, a little balsamic drizzle. Just use balsamic vinegar that's cheap and cheerful, nothing special, because we're changing it a little bit by adding it to a pan with some brown sugar, honey, maple syrup, white sugar, whatever you have. Agave syrup would work. Mix them together over the stove. Just turn it into a syrup, let it go. I'd say medium high. It's going to fill your kitchen with some balsamic vibes. Just go with it and just leave it alone. Meanwhile, I have some beautiful fresh plum tomatoes. Now I'm going to take the core off because we're going to be fancy today. But beautiful yellow heirloom tomatoes, orange, just use what you got. The little core is coming out. Slice the plum in half. Half again. This salad ideally should be left to just sit all day on the counter so all the flavors can just mingle together. But it's fine in a pinch to just eat it right away. Time makes everything better, except for skin, I suppose, but SPF. Line these little guys up and just cube them. Just be glad that you don't have to peel the tomatoes, which is often the case when you're making a little tomato sauce. If you're using cherry tomatoes, just chop them in half. The idea by cutting them is just to release their juices, and that creates the sauce. Okay. Have a bowl nearby, catching as much juice as you can. Scoop and drop. Smells like summer. Have a look at the syrup. Just doing its thing. And still, if it's still quite liquidy, we're going for a syrup here, so leave it a little longer. Just swirl. Into our little tomato salad, some garlic. I'm gonna grate it in. You could finely chop. Depends on your tolerance for garlic chunks. Use half of this monstrous clove of garlic. Next up, fresh herbs. The beauty of the salad is you can just use what you have. I have basil here, basil, depending on where you're from. Just tear it in. I also have fresh flat leaf parsley. So delicious and refreshing. So the idea here is you could chop it and make it perfect, or just roughly cut and tear if you'd like. Just imagine something that is somewhat easy to bite into. I'm going to do a little bit of both. Stems are not a problem with the parsley. I would take out any big basil stems. They're a little bit woody. All right, let's get all the flavors going. So I'm just going to stir it together. If you did this in the morning and you came home at the end of the day and this was just sitting and waiting for you, it'd just be one of those special gifts. Gather up your bits and season. The salt will add flavor, but it will also pull out some juices and make it even more saucy. And some pepper. Another stir. Okay, now take your very best olive oil, just add a swirl. Because there's so few ingredients in the salad, it's important for each one to taste delicious. So use the best. Meanwhile, over at the stove, this guy is just still cruising along, looking great. While the balsamic is reducing, I'm going to grill some bread, and I have some gorgeous olive and rosemary bread here. It just needs a little olive oil on the underside. The pan is nice and hot. This one has been heating up for a while now. All right, just let that go. Let's talk about cheese, specifically burrata. And it is such a treat because essentially it is a sack of mozzarella and inside is fresh cream and cheese curds. You just have to be careful when you're cutting it. So again, celebrating beautiful ingredients. Okay, so just slice right through. Trying to keep all the beautiful insides somewhat intact, and it's going to explode. And just carefully plate up the bottom part of the ball. Okay, the toast. Don't forget about your beautiful rustic olive and rosemary bread. Give the other side a little gloss and turn that over. Won't take long. Meanwhile, our balsamic glaze is gorgeous and bubbly and ready. Okay, heat off there. And when you have a hot handle in the kitchen, it's thoughtful to cover it with a little towel in case someone walks by. Okay, this is looking beautiful. And just spoon the glaze over everything if you'd like. I feel like I am 20 all over again, this time with a little balsamic glaze and burrata. Yum. Make a little bite. You could eat this with your hands if you weren't wearing your favorite dress. Pile it on and enjoy. Tomatoes, fresh herbs, garlic, balsamic, and burrata. Can you hear the angels singing? They're so loud in my ears right now. This is heaven.
Simple ingredients enjoyed in their prime. That's what great cooking is all about. Just a little of this, a touch of that, and you're set. Tomatoes with creamy burrata. Quick and easy.